Hi everyone, it's Natalie here. Um, I have had an upper respiratory cold and stuff this week, so instead of smudging and saging, I'm using my handy dandy little mixture of sage and Palo Santo and lavender and, first one thing and another that I've put in there. So hello, welcome to February. Um, this is a reading for the 2nd of February through the 8th of February. And it is Groundhog Day, and it would appear that certainly in St. Louis, the groundhog is seeing his shadow for sure, because we went from like really cold weather. It's going to be 65 degrees today, which is a shock. It is a shock. But I'm not going to complain about it either. It's actually kind of nice to get out and get into the sun. So, at any rate, that's where we are. So today, I am very enthusiastically pairing my latest deck, which is the Space Between the Notes Spirit Doodle Cards by L. Ron Mills. And I have filmed an unboxing that I haven't released yet. It's all queued up and ready to go. But we'll work with these. I don't yet have my guidebook from Lulu. However, when you buy the deck, you also get a PDF. So you can actually scroll through, and there is a beautiful table of contents, and the deck is usable immediately, even if you haven't had your book from Lulu yet. So, that said, we'll go ahead and put these little beauties away. I've had my first Oracle card pull with this one this morning, and I got healing, which obviously I really need. I thought that was really witty and funny. So there we go. And I'm using the deck that I most wanted to pair it with or try pairing it with, which is the Apparition Spirit Speak deck by Mary Elizabeth Evans. I'm a huge fan of her work. So with that giveaway, I was offering really some of the best of what I have. Just with the recognition that these are decks I'm not using, and they would be best off, if I'm done playing with them and enjoying them for now, they're best off with someone who will really love them. So, not any kind of a commentary or lack of love for Mary Elizabeth Evans, really just a recognition of, space is limited and we only have so much of it. And I wanted to try some new things, and there we go. So here is our Fool from this deck, which is an unusual looking character. And as you can see, this Fool is listening to a tin can from the universe. So listening for the voices of the universe and ready to drop their feet down onto the path. And try a new space. Okay, so let's see. Once we shuffle these back in, we'll start the first operation. Okay. I normally don't do that left-handed. I don't know why I suddenly felt the need to do it left-handed today, but there we go. Okay, so we're looking for the Fool. Oh, wow, okay. So Yeah, no, that's fine. It would ordinarily go that way anyway. Okay. Wow. So first try. All right. Amazing. That never happens. So this week we're in the wands pile, everybody. So finding our significator in the wands pile means that the solution to any problems that arise is going to come from our intuition. So trusting in our own intuitive insights and intuitive spaciousness. You know, your spirit, your higher self knows the answer. It also occurs to me we could be looking at personal development or career. You know, this could be to do with career moves, things that you're looking forward to in terms of how, you know, you move forward in your own personal life and professional life. It sometimes has to do with health, although I tend not to read health, generally speaking. But I suppose for this reading, we each and every one of us knows about our own health. So, you know, it's funny. Yeah, health would come up. I guess there's a lot of colds and flus. And realistically speaking, if we think about it, we're looking at this whole new coronavirus thing. So yeah, maybe health is not off the table for this one. It might be wise to keep it in. Yeah, it's kind of a lot going on this week in the world. So I'm going to go ahead and lay these out in a circle and we'll move forward. Okay, so we're going to begin the card counting. Interestingly, I normally don't use my left hand, and somehow today too, I also felt like I wanted to go anti-clockwise instead of clockwise around. I don't know. Sometimes it's just sometimes it's literally to do with the deck and the way the Fool is facing. Other times it's just instinct, and I don't fight it. I just work with it. So yeah, so we're going to be moving 3 cards this way. So we have 1, 2, 3, and our first, yay! Our first card is the 10 of Swords. Oh boy, sorry about that. So 10 of Swords. The good thing about that is that it can only look up from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, beautiful. So the second one is the Chariot. Chariot. I think that's astrological. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, King of Cups. One, 2, 3, 4. Queen of Pentacles. Yay. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Sun. Okay, so this is good. Yep. Planetary. So 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 of Swords. Oh boy. Okay, 3 of Swords. 1, 2, 3. The Emperor. Got a deep reading this week. 7 cards already. So the Emperor is planetary. Zodiac. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I thought so. I'm going to double check my counting and I'll be right back. Okay, it is correct. So we've got the 10 of Swords, followed by the Chariot, the King of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, the Sun, the 3 of Swords, and the Emperor. Okay, so here we are. We've got some very large cards, and there are 7 of them. So it's a little bit challenging to try and get everything in frame, and so forth. So I will hold some of them up from time to time. So the thing that really sticks out to me this week is that the Queen of Pentacles is up here at the pinnacle, not the same word as pentacle, obviously, at the pinnacle of the spread for the week this week, holding, nurturing space, abundance, potential, possibility, and really grounding us in reality, helping us see that there is a way to balance out everything in our lives, both the good and the bad, and that the best way to do that is through spaciousness, through ease, maybe coming back into contact with our intentions, with the things that put us back in touch with what we're doing and why we're doing it, right? If we're thinking in terms of the wands pile, why are we here? What is it that we're hoping to accomplish or achieve, right? That's the reminder. Yeah. And interestingly, there are no wands cards this week. We don't have any wands. This is not an unusual thing. Most of us know this by now if you've been following along for a while. Just because the significator comes up in a particular pile doesn't mean that that it's just a reading about wands. It's that is underpinning everything that we're seeing here. I hope that makes sense. We're starting the week with the Ten of Swords, not the easiest card in the world to be getting, obviously, but the good news about Ten of Swords always is that we're hitting a point where everything is kind of just like at its lowest, or feels, our perception is going to be that it's at its lowest. I don't think it is. Obviously, we've got so many other cards here, that are telling us otherwise. What I love about this card is that the swords don't actually go all the way through. They're implied. And that what we have here is not blood, but in fact the ocean and treasures. But, let's also be really honest, guys. There's a lot going on in the world right now that's very, very difficult. So, yeah, I think maybe I jumped past this one a little bit too quickly, probably because I don't want to spend much time there myself. We're dealing with a lot of things that have come up in the last week. Politically, it's certainly if you live in the United States, which ultimately means it affects everyone. Britain just finally enacted the Brexit, so they left the EU, which, frankly speaking, as a dual citizen, I'm not happy about at all. We're still we're still battling bushfires and feeling rattled worldwide by the impact of what's happening in Australia. There's a coronavirus. We've got a lot. We've got a lot on our plate. So coming back, let's take a step back here again. Coming back to a space where we can remember what, we can't control all of these factors that are happening in the world. We just can't. What we can control is ourselves and the way that we respond to it. So how do you want to respond to the world offering you a situation in a mind space that feels like this, whether it's globally or personally? Right? Because we're interconnected, because we all work together, because we all function together, choosing to bring together the dark and the light, which is kind of not the best represented by this particular chariot, although I do love this particular chariot, but choosing to bring together the difficult and the beautiful, which I would say in so many ways is the truth of who we really are. It's the truth of our highest intentions. And to move forward through that space for the benefit not just of ourselves, but for the benefit of all, is really the only thing we can do, right? If you are peaceful, the energy that you're bringing into contact with everyone around you is one that's peaceful. It's not easy work. This is we're being asked to there's a reason that this is a major arcana. We're being asked to lift ourselves up to the highest possible level of our potential in order that we can bring things together in ourselves, individually, to move forward, because that is what brings the greatest potential for helping others. Right? It's the choices that we make not to have road rage. I watch this every day on the interstates when I'm driving to work, and it's heartbreaking. The amount of aggressive driving, someone that just decides, even though there is no ability for a particular vehicle to move further forward, to like scrunch right up against that person's bumper and scare the shit out of them in order to what? That's it's one thing that all of us could do. And this is the Chariot cards. It feels relevant. That's one thing. Stop. Take a breath. Take a breath. Don't let chicken brain, right? The part of our brains that enacts something like road rage is the same thing that keeps a chicken running around when its head is cut off, literally. It's the basilar nervous system at the base of the skull. So don't. That's not who you are. Make a better choice. And I'd say, where can we make those better choices? Everywhere. But if you can't think of every place where that could happen, choose one. Just choose one. And I'm going to say, because we're with the Chariot, choose against road rage. Choose peace. Choose to drive with plenty of space around you and take breaths and let go. When that limbic stuff and basilar stuff starts to take over, okay? Enact that higher mind that knows better. Because when we're driving, it's all of us. Sorry, a little bit of a PSA there. But it does feel relevant. This is not an easy moment. This is not an easy time. Being in control of our emotions is what's going to give us the ability to create nurturing space of the Queen of Pentacles. Right? And that then in turn is what puts us in touch with our higher selves. Right? That is definitely what we're looking at here. Bringing forth the highest possible self and bringing it forth for the benefit of others, not just for you, but for us, for all of us. The sun shines on all of us and through all of us. That said, we can expect that we're going to continue to encounter with grief, with a sense of feeling lost, this is such a genius card for so many reasons, but, this is kind of like an MC Escher, puzzle where the world doesn't look right. The world doesn't look right. Things feel like they're falling apart. I don't get the sense that any of this is going to feel better to us this week. It's going to continue to look like all of this, in the coming days. And recognizing that hurts and that it brings up old grief, old sorrows, things from our past, fears about our future, or a sense of despair it's very likely. And when we're doing this work for ourselves, right, where we're making these choices to handle things through the highest possible aspects of ourselves, then, you know, this is what puts us back in charge and helps this shine through us, right? So that we become more in charge of our own environment. And I would say too, you know, moving from this Three of Swords to the Emperor, let's look at this progression here. We're looking at the Sun, the Three of Swords, and then the Emperor. You know, with our highest self in charge, as these kinds of things, you know, as the world seems to continue to fall apart, we've got more space for dealing with it as it arises. We've got more of an ability to be with that kind of challenge and pain if it arises in that form. It may arise as great confusion, or the kind of great confusion in the mind that arises from grief, right? And, you know, this Emperor here at the end of the reading, for me, feels like this is a very temporary disorder. That's so interesting, because we're moving from this great disorder to great order and almost perfect order, chaos to order. But not just, you know, this is a minor arcana, the Three of Swords. This is, you know, not a major card. And we're moving from, you know, a 3 to a 4. So we're not making just a leap from chaos to more order. We're moving from that feeling of chaos to relax. The highest possible order is what's in charge. And will restore that sense of order and calm and authority. I'm curious about how that's going to manifest, in all honesty. You know, it may be that that's a choice that we need to make for ourselves, you know, is that, you know, continuing along this line of like choosing the highest possible self to hold space. You know, the Emperor takes charge. The Emperor puts things in order. The Emperor, you know, we've got a sword here. So there is something about putting the mind, you know, in the mind's eye back in charge of what is happening. So when you find yourself in that state of grief where things feel like they're in complete disorder, you have the ability to change your own mind space by creating something that structures your life. Or structures your mind. You know, come back to the self, come back to the, you know, the part of you that knows that it is, has your whole best interest in at heart. Yeah. But I also feel sorry. I mean, I know I'm being a little wibbly wobbly here. I do feel like there's something. I'm going into some fortune telling space here, and that's okay. I do feel like where we're looking at lots of this kind of disorder continuing this week, there's some kind of official or governmental something that is going to go like that on top of things and put some structure or order into place. These are swords. This is a sword. I feel like that may be around justice. It may be around law. It may be around legal things. But I feel like we're going to see some order restored quickly, you know, around some things. I'm very curious to see how that's going to play out. I tend to see this as like the structure of the week, you know, looking from beginning to end. We've got Leo, Moon in Leo by the time we get to next Saturday. Saturday ruled by Saturn. It's an 8-day. Interesting. Okay, well, yeah. Venus goes into Aries on Friday. That'll be interesting. That'll be very, very interesting to see how this wants to play out. All right. So let us pull. This is such a mess. Sorry, guys. Let us pull from the Spirit Doodle cards. So this is the backs of the cards, and then we have the fronts of the cards, which really work beautifully with this deck for so many reasons, you know. Yeah. All right, let's see what the Spirit Doodle cards want to tell us. Okay, so the card we have for this week from the Spirit Doodle cards is Accept. And that is assigned the element of water. So I'm going to read what Elrond says in his book, which I've got pulled up here, but which I will hold over to the side so I can actually read it. Let's see. Acceptance is the first step to healing. It is also one of the most difficult lessons to learn. Acceptance is the ability to face the part in each of us and others that has been rejected and accept it as part of the whole package. Not to try and change it, not to try and ignore it, just to let it be. This doesn't mean that we tacitly accept bad behavior, no. But instead of battling the imperfections of ourselves and others, we choose to begin a dialogue that includes acceptance of these flaws. So this really comes back, you know, in harmony with the Chariot as well, you know, accepting, and this one, right? Accepting that we feel this way, that this is a very difficult way to feel, and choosing instead through accepting, through taking both horses in hand, and choosing to hold hands with both of them, we find the way to move forward into a higher place. This is what gives us more mastery of our emotions. Look at the pinks that come over from this card to this one. And that also put us back into a place where we can hold nurturing space for ourselves and for others, right? Let's see. Whenever this card comes up, take a look at what you are resisting. Whatever is disturbing you right now is simply a reflection of a disturbance inside yourself. What is that disturbance? Is it a situation or another person annoying you? Whatever it is about this person or situation that is causing you to feel or behave badly is simply something you must accept in yourself. Another aspect of this card is that though change is possible and is a part of everyone's path, we cannot dictate what this change should be for others. Only individuals can change themselves. At the moment, your challenge is to accept things as they are, not as you would like them to be. Okay, so yeah, there is so many pages worth of information here that we could go into, but suffice it to say, what we're looking at here with this card, you know, is very, very much in harmony with everything that we're finding here in this, you know, in this reading this week. So, you know, to sum up or to wrap up, we've got the Ten of Swords to start, right? So through acceptance of the Ten of Swords, you know, through the challenges and difficulties that we've got, we have the ability to move to a higher place. That puts us more in a position of mastery of our emotions, the way that we feel, and then gives us too the ability to hold a gentle space that's much more verdant and abundant for ourselves and others. That will enable us to, you know, function from our highest possible selves. You know, the highest version of ourselves, the best of who and what we are. You know. Yeah, which can be tremendous. We're going to need that because as we move forward, we're going to continue to come into contact with difficulty that needs acceptance this week. But through that acceptance, through that spaciousness, we have the power to bring order back to the chaos. So as things feel chaotic, we have the ability to add more structure through the acceptance of that chaos. I always feel too that the Three of Swords is very much about acceptance. There are three swords in this heart. What can you do about it? Very little. You have to simply go, okay, this is here. This difficulty is here, and I need to be with it. The being with it and the allowing is what gives us the power to restructure, put things back into balance. So a lot longer of a reading this week than what I would have necessarily intended, but I think a very deep reading, and perhaps one that I hope deeply from the bottom of my heart that everyone finds helpful. All right, everyone, there we are. I wish all of you tremendous peace going into the week. I believe in you. I believe in all of us and our ability and our capacity to hold space for ourselves and to hold space for each other. All right, take care. Be well. See you next time. Bye.